You're listening to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Buckle up as anything goes and having fun is the only rule we have. Now, here's your host, Nick Apostolopoulos.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Nicksology. As the man said, I'm your host, Nick Apostolopoulos, proprietor of 619 Vodka. You can follow us online at Nicksology.com, Facebook.com/Nicksology, and, of course, the Instagram and Twitter, NicksologySD. The live stream is live today, so you can catch us live if you go to the Nicksology website. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk all about the history of San Diego beer. We've got Sheldon Kaplan on. Hello, Sheldon. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. And Kevin Tostado. I almost said Tostado. God,
it's close enough.
That's why I asked you right before, and I'm like, I'm not going to screw this up, and I totally screwed it up. Kevin Tostado from Toasty Productions, and they are not only are they, well, especially Sheldon, right, a big historian of knowledgeable San Diego beer history.
That's true.
But you guys produced a documentary a couple years ago called Suds County, right?
Suds County, USA, yeah. That was the first movie that was released in the fall of 2012.
Okay, and that was basically a history of San Diego brewing?
Yeah, it was pretty much the rise of the San Diego craft breweries, and kind of the context was placed within the sort of the broader history of San Diego brewing, because prior to this sort of big new wave of brewing, which we have in San Diego, which started in 1987, there was a San Diego beer history that happened from the late 1800s through to 1953 as well.
Now, I noticed that when I was reading this morning, so that's something I did not know about. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
So what was the history of in San Diego in those early years?
Well, it really sort of starts when San Diego gets sort of developed, when the modern city of San Diego starts, when Alonzo Horton sort of develops the area that's now sort of part of downtown San Diego. Before San Diego, it'd obviously be an old town. Right. And once that development started happening, people started moving in here. That's when there was obviously demand for beer. Now, the first beers were actually brought in. They were shipped from outside of San Diego. There was no one manufacturing beer here. And then slowly guys started manufacturing beer. City Brewery. There was a guy brewing who was out in Spring Valley, near the cemetery, probably a good place to start brewing beer. So people they'd walk out, bury the person, then stop on the way back and have the wake. Okay. And then the big brewery that happened really was in the 1880s, 1890s at San Diego Brewing Company. There was the
I had
real
no idea
big,
there was San Diego Brewing Company. That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah. And as you know, it's nothing like the new version of the San Diego Brewing Company. They just took the name, but and it was a massive. In fact, at one time, it was the largest sort of manufacturing enterprise in the county back in the day. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously then Prohibition happened.
Prohibition happened.
Knocked things down.
Correct.
But then did things pop back up after that?
They did, but it never really got back up to full speed. The main brewery actually that came back here after Prohibition was one that had been established in Mexicali during Prohibition to supply beer to in Baja, because a lot of people were coming over the border. They come down from LA and Hollywood, and they had stopped. In fact, one of the reasons that La Jolla and that area got really developed was that was one of the stopovers when they'd come down the coast from LA, and they'd stop over in La Jolla and then head down to TJ and down to Aguas Calientes, and so they needed lots of beer for that. But then after the Prohibition was repealed, that the brewery from Mexicali actually reestablished itself in San Diego. Unfortunately, the building's gone. It's demolished. I think in the 80s it was an earthquake hazard. Okay. And that was sort of down near, I'm trying to think, it's sort of near, not Barrio Logan, but down sort of towards down that way.
Right. Okay.
Down that way.
Downtown.
Yeah, south of downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where, down that area. And that was still the biggest, that was sort of the biggest brewery for a long time in San Diego post-Prohibition. ABC was the primary brand, and then also Aztec, the original Aztec beer, Aztec Brewery. Right. That's what it was as well. So Aztec, yeah.
That's wild, because I always assumed, I guess I didn't really think a lot about the history of beer, but I always assumed it was an East Coast kind of thing, and then obviously Coors on the West Coast, right? But in my mind, that was kind of like the first or only West Coast brewery. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no, there were lots of West Coast breweries before Prohibition. There were lots in California, a lot of redundant. And then the brewery that really sort of started the modern craft beer movement in the U.S. was Anchor.
Right, Anchor.
Anchor in San Francisco. That was Fritz Maytag bought that out in the I believe, don't quote me on this, late 60s, maybe early 70s. But he was the first guy that really that sort of got what became the modern craft movement. Right. And actually the beer that those guys put out which was to celebrate the bicentenary of Paul Revere's ride, a beer called Liberty Ale, was sort of the forerunner to the modern American IPA.
Okay. That's wild.
Yeah.
Huh. And what year was that?
So bicentenary was at 76,
yeah.
right?
Okay,
That was the bicentenary, 76. Right. So I think, and he did it just a little bit before, because I think Paul Revere's ride is in April, so he got like a lot of publicity. I think he did a little bit before the actual, before the bicentenary celebrations. And then that beer itself also went on to influence a bunch of brewers, including the guys up at Sierra Nevada.
Okay.
Which started like in the early 80s, and those guys started making their pale ale was quite a hoppy beer,
right?
And that actually influenced a lot of San Diego homebrewers.
Yeah, because I remember really liking that beer when I first found out about it. I don't know if it's when it first came out, but yeah, it was definitely a very hoppy beer.
Yeah. For the time, it was very hoppy, and that actually was one of the beers that sort of influenced San Diego homebrewers, and started this sort of move to all these. The hoppy beers that we see in the county today, which San Diego's become so famous for.
Yeah, in fact, I've joked about it on the show in the past. There definitely was a time where there was sort of a race to the hoppiest beer you could make.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we've backed off of that a little bit. I mean, I like a good hoppy beer, but it was getting kind of ridiculous.
I don't know if we have backed off completely. Maybe backed off on the malt. They've gotten lighter and hoppier. So that seems
maybe that's what it is too.
Yeah. They've tend to have gotten a little bit lighter and hoppier, but there's still. I actually, just for fun, the guys at Rip Current a couple of years back, they did a quad IPA.
Well, so I was talking to a brewmaster about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
which is that because I had always. So I didn't fully understand the term double IPA, triple IPA. I assumed it meant just more hops.
No, it's alcohol.
It means more. Right. It means more everything.
Alcohol,
more everything.
Yeah.
But by virtue of that, the beers tend to taste less hoppy.
Well, there's more malt balance generally,
right. And so I didn't because I thought to myself, okay, like I said, being one who likes the malt, likes the hop, but not too much. I was always avoiding those, and it turns out I like those better.
Well, Kevin's the same. Kevin's the same.
Yeah.
Unlike me.
Yeah. So I mean, I like a good. I don't know. I feel like it got too much there for a while, and now the sour thing, which I'm anti-sour. I've tried them and I can't get there. But with the hops, yeah. Like for me now, I like the doubles, the triples because they're more balanced and they're. I know there's more hops in there somewhere, but they're not punching me in the face.
Yeah. Don't give up on sours, by the way. Keep trying them and try them with food. People make that mistake. They're not designed to drink a pint of sour by itself. So have it if you pair it up with the right food, especially if you get like a. And then there's all sort of different sours now. Now they're making these sours in stainless steel. Very, very different. Adding stuff basically sour them, kind of like you'd make. I
mean, I find the occasional ones I like. We've had Toolbox Brewing on a couple guys.
Yeah.
And I like different things.
So those stainless, those are mostly.
Yeah. I just feel like and for longest time I like Belgian lambics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to me those aren't sour in the way that the current brewers mean sour.
They're almost more tart than sour.
They're just tart and they're a little fruity and whatever. But I feel like we're on a race to, Bacteria City and just trying to make these things as sour as they possibly can. Yeah. But it's a personal preference. But I have not tried them. In fact, most of the ones I've tried have been sitting here in this chair on the show.
Right.
And so I'm just trying them cold, if you will. So
yeah. As I say, they're good pairing up. Like a good barrel aged sour. Pair it up with the right meal is delicious. So.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So the IPA thing. Well, we're only about a minute away from our first break, so the IPA thing, is it distinctly San Diegan?
It's not distinctly San Diegan, but it's become this. I would say that San Diego.
We've become known for it.
Yes,
right?
Yes. It's what grew. It became the main style of beer brewed here for multiple reasons that I can't explain in 1 minute. But we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. Yeah.
We'll come back to it a little bit. Yeah. And so what I'll do is I'll start prepping. I brought one with, and I brought more than one. But I thought we'd start with a grapefruit Sculpin because I thought we'd talk a little bit about how the IPAs have gotten fruity.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can maybe talk a little bit about that. That's the new thing. Before we had the session IPAs, now it seems we're getting into all driven by Grapefruit Sculpin, actually.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, yeah. Let's go ahead and take a break then, and we'll come back and we'll dive into the San Diego IPA scene after this. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mr. Credit here. If you ever catch me at happy hour, you'll probably catch me drinking a vodka martini. I don't always drink vodka, but when I do, I drink 619 vodka because it's local vodka from right here in San Diego. I know the owner, and you can meet him too. Go to 619vodka.com and think 619 vodka when you're out there having a good time. That's 619vodka.com. And of course, remember to always drink responsibly.
CS Keys here to tell you about San Diego's handcrafted ultra premium vodka, 619 Vodka. It's distilled and filtered 5 times, gluten-free, and made from 100% pure mountain spring water for a smooth, clean finish. It's a 2-time silver medal winner and a 2-time gold medal winner already in 2013. America's Finest City has America's Finest Vodka that everybody can experience. Just go to the website, 619vodka.com. If you know like I know, you better tell somebody.
Are you ready to own a piece of America's finest city? Whether you're sick of paying rent, need a tax deduction, or want to secure your retirement, the list is long when it comes to the benefits of home ownership. But where do you start? You start with a company accredited with the Better Business Bureau since 2009 and 0 complaints at the BBB in its history. A company that provides free loan pre-approvals, free mortgage planning, and a free appraisal when you close your loan with Pure Mortgage. 888-254-3001. That's 888-254-3001. Pure Mortgage is an Inc. 5000 recognized company for years 2013 and 2014 with specialists in VA, FHA, conventional, jumbo, and even reverse mortgages. Take the first step toward owning a home and call Pure Mortgage today at 888-254-3001. That's 888-254-3001 or visit them online at puremortgage.com. Your dream home is just a phone call away and Pure Mortgage is ready to help. Call 888-254-3001. That's 888-254-3001 right now or go to puremortgage.com. NMLS number 71394. Loans made or arranged pursuant to a California Finance Lender's Law license. Number 603I788. California Bureau of Real Estate. Correspondent lender number 01848940. Pure Mortgage is an equal housing lender.
Go to Fuller Honda, where they exceed your expectations from test drive to delivery. Their professional sales team is committed to a no-pressure, high-integrity approach to your ownership experience. Best of all, the new Honda lineup features some of the best fuel economy on the market, along with contemporary styling at affordable prices. The Fuller family has been servicing San Diegans' automotive needs for over 60 years. Fuller Honda, exit Auto Park Drive off the 805 freeway in the Chula Vista Auto Park.
Everyday problems have a solution. At the Green Party, they strive to comply with what they promise. Here and now, the Green Party commits with you to improve environmental education in all school levels, to have a better and safer public transportation system, and to improve the garbage collection services. Remember, the Green Party complies. Coalition candidate. At New Alliance, they are tired of those who speak poorly of Mexico and of Mexicans, because they have the capability to work hard, to be honest, and to excel anywhere in the world. That is why, in the name of all the Mexicans that live in the United States, they want to dedicate this turquoise message to a certain presidential candidate. Mexico deserves to be respected. Come to Turquoise. Come to New Alliance.
And now, back to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Brought to you by 619 Vodka, who reminds you to always drink responsibly. Find out more at 619vodka.com.
Sorry, Steve, I'm here. Welcome back to Nicksology. We're here with Sheldon Kaplan and Kevin Tostado. They're producing a new film called Suds County 2.
Yes.
Okay.
The Boil Over is the full title. Suds County to the Boil Over. And for people who want information, then go to sudscounty.com. That's the best way to get to our Kickstarter page.
And you have Kickstarter you're going through right now and all that? Okay.
Yep.
And so the first film was 2011.
2012, yeah.
2012, okay. 2012. And it covered the history up till then.
Pretty much, yeah. And we were actually scrambling, by the way, at the end. We were really scrambling to get the movie, to get everything in that we could, as much as we could, because there was so much. There was so much happening. Yeah, in fact, in that year, that was like one of the years that, for example, I've got some of the numbers here. We had an additional in 2010. There were an additional 7 breweries in San Diego opened. 2011, 4 more, and 2012, 16.
Yeah.
So it was really one of the. And then 2013 was a real. There were 25 opened in 2013. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like all 25 of those are right next to me in North Park. By the way.
Yeah, it's
and North
cool.
Park's just booming with breweries.
It is. It's amazing.
More on the way too.
Yeah. So So we talked about the history. When did craft brewing reignite in San Diego?
Well, it reignited in the 80s.
Okay.
That's when the home brewing became legal again.
Okay.
That's sort of really what sort of. Well, this industry is built on the backs of home brewers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the.
Well, and it's funny you say that because I started home brewing in the late '80s, and at one point in there had the idea to start a brewery and just never did. But yeah, I feel like the home brew, there was a lot of support. Home Brewers Club, Ballast Point came out of their shop.
Yeah, Quaff, the homebrew club, was the big homebrew club. In fact, in those days, was the only homebrew club in San Diego. And so the first brewery in San Diego was Bolt out in Temecula. The original incarnation of Bolt Brewing.
Okay.
And that lasted about 18 months. And then the next guys probably and the longest surviving are Carl Strauss.
Okay.
So those are, and also, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Carl Strauss is an interesting story too.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of appropriating the name. I mean, not appropriating, but...
What was the old? It was
Carl,
the Uncle Carl.
Yeah,
he was part of the
Pabst,
family
from Pabst Brewing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he and so they've shifted a lot over the years. There was a brewery that brewed a lot of German style beers, and they're what everyone knew them for, their amber ale. And now, I mean, if you had any of that, what's it, the hoppy Aurealis, yeah. I mean,
I've heard about this. I haven't had it yet.
Yeah, they're making IPAs. They make great. Their Wreck Alley, their coffee stout. They make all sorts of different beers now. Carl Strauss, they're really doing some excellent and interesting beers. But they were and they're now starting to expand as well as a production brewery. They're going to be building a new brewery apparently.
And
really?
Yeah, out in Santee. Yeah.
Wow.
Because most of their business, they were actually, it's interesting. Even though they've been around the longest, they're the least established outside of San Diego County, because they've only been outside of Southern California maybe in the last 2 or 3 years. They moved up to Northern California. So they've always stayed very much a regional brewery, and most of their business was designed around their restaurants, their brew pubs.
Yeah, that's weird. I never really thought of it that way, but you're right. There was design that. I wonder why, though. Do you know? I mean, because...
I don't know.
Because
the other business model, I guess.
Yeah, because obviously Stone and the other guys have the ones that started a long time ago have really blown up. Ballast Point, we're going to talk about it, but...
And when those guys started, it was incredibly difficult to get distribution for their beer. I mean, beyond a very small, regional area. So that changed. In fact, the reason that Stone became so big and so influential was that when Stone went through a period where they tried to get a distributor, between 1996 and 1998, when they started in 96, and by 98 they needed a distributor, because they were losing so much money self-distributing their beer, and they couldn't get one eventually, and so they decided the only thing they could do was start a separate distribution company, which they did, and then they started distributing their beers and other people's beers as well, and that's what really grew Stone as well.
And I feel like that really kind of grew and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like that kind of grew the craving for craft in San Diego, because not only were there breweries popping up here, but we were getting a lot at that point. Because of Stone, we got a lot of stuff that otherwise wouldn't have made it into Southern California.
And also the fact that they're one of their, I think it was the second beer that they put on as a regular beer, that they'd make year in and year out, was their IPA. Which came out after their pale ale. I think it was their first anniversary beer, if I'm correct, and because they kept making IPAs for their anniversary, but that beer remained, and that's the beer I think that was the beer that you'd first see as the IPA that was on when you'd go into bars, and there'd be nothing else on that was craft, but you'd see Stone IPA. You remember that?
Right, I do remember.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
And and so I think they deserve huge kudos for pushing the IPA thing in San Diego and then watching it take off. And the other thing is that Stone beers were being, sent eventually across the country.
Right.
So that helped too with the San Diego, and they were selling other people's beers too.
Right.
So
what led to that sort of, I mean, obviously they did it but what led to the IPA becoming sort of the signature beer for San Diego? Was it easier to homebrew?
Yes. Ales, obviously, and I know in the break we were speaking a little bit about lagers and that. As you know, lagers take much longer.
Sure.
We need to control
basically everybody who homebrews brews ales.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that made sense.
Right. But the IPA in particular.
Well, the IPA, It was the original beers were sort of English style beers that were brewed here, and maybe some German beers. The guys at Lager Beers were doing some of those, but mostly sort of English style ales and stouts and things like that. But as I say, the guys from up at Sierra Nevada, when they started pushing their hoppy beers, that just took off with the San Diego home brewers. They love the hop flavor. I think it works well for the weather. We have hard water here for the most part, which is great for making ales. Right. So those things, and then they also became that sort of, let's see what you can do with it, And there was also the fact that San Diego was so isolated. This before the internet, and there was no one really saying what they could or they couldn't do, how much hopping you could do. So guys were experimenting and saying, and then there was also some of the guys in the early days told me that they were trying to make a beer that smelled and tasted of weed. There was some of that too. So there was a minority. I'm not saying that was the majority drive of this, but there was certainly some of that too. So add all those things together, and then, as I say, this hop upmanship started, and guys, I can make it hoppier than you, and and so that's sort of really what. But I mean, if you have a nice crisp IPA on a hot San Diego day,
it does work. I mean, like I said, I'm a fan.
Perfect
it works
beer,
well.
for me at least. Yeah. So, and we have one here with this is the beer that has sort of. This is the beer that made, well, not this one, the original version. This is Sculpin with grapefruit from Ballast Point that we're drinking, and there seems to be this push. Which started with, I think this beer really should get the kudos for doing it, but this is the beer that started with the fruit. Okay. The IPA at least. Right. There are tons of other fruit beers, and fruit beers have been made forever and ever. And wheat
beers. And
wheat beers and things like that. But no one had really sort of thought of no one made fruity IPAs. Right. And so, and obviously the grapefruit works with the hops. It works really well, that citric flavor. Yeah. In fact, back in the day at Ballast Point, before this even went into bottles or cans, when just the regular Sculpin was out at the old brewery, I remember actually drinking the guys taking grapefruit segments and basically muddling it in the glass and then pouring the Sculpin in with.
Honestly, that sounds good.
Yeah, right there. yeah. But it's not a Radlers, German Radlers, which are lagers with like. Lime with lemonade, rather like lemon juice in them, and then shandies have always been popular, like in England, where you have like some ale, but they put like what they call lemonade there, but what we call Sprite over here, a splash of that in that. So it's not entirely new, but it is new. This idea of putting these fruity sort of IPAs, and now I brought a couple of different ones to try. So
this is like I said, I think I said off air, I haven't tried this before, but I really like it. You're right, the grapefruit does go well with the hops.
Sculpin, the $1 billion beer. It is the beer that took Ballast Point over the top. And what's cool about San Diego, actually, about Sculpin, what's so cool about it is that it started life as a homebrew, like most. It actually started life as two homebrews at the Homebrew Mart. Two of the brewers there, two employees, Doug Duffield and George Cortland, they both brewed award-winning beers. And their boss at the time was Colby Chandler, who's the main brewer now at down in Little Italy. But he decided, as a sort of to complement them both, he decided to brew a beer that was based on both sort of half and half of their recipes. He took from both their recipes. It was meant to be it was going to be a one-off. Right. He was going to have them serve it at O'Brien's, and for these two guys to go and taste their beer with their mates, basically. Right. And then and the next thing, people loved the beer, and they started making more and more of it. And now it's the number one selling beer in the county, and Grapefruit Sculpin's the number 6 selling beer in the county. And it's also taken off. I mean, you can go now across many places in the U.S. You'll be amazed where you'll find Ballast Point Sculpin.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's like the second. The first wave was a Stone IPA of the big. I mean, in terms of volume. Sure. And then I'd say that Sculpin's probably the next big one after that. Right.
Well, so now that we've kind of cracked that box open, what do you think about the whole Ballast Point, being bought out, and are they local or are they not local anymore?
Well, they're no longer
craft.
They're no longer considered craft. In fact,
is that by sheer volume?
Well, no, craft. No, it's not by volume because they're not at 6 million barrels. You can go up to like Boston Beer Company, Samuel Adams. They still considered craft. Okay. And Yuengling is considered craft. Right. But this is the critical that I'm reading here from what the BA put out. Less than 25% of the craft brewery is owned or controlled by an alcoholic beverage industry member that is not itself a craft brewer. So the problem is that they got bought out by a major company,
Right, Constellation.
Brands,
Right.
who brew and who have own other, and so they lose. So they're about to lose their craft status. My personal feelings, look, I don't know. No one's ever dangled $1 million in front of me, so I don't know how I would react. So I can't judge. I think people are a little bit torn in the brewing world in San Diego about it, because it's not like, there wasn't much when St. Archer was sold to Miller Coors. Prior to this, no one really cared. Just people, they were shunned to a certain degree by certain people, and also because they're no longer seen as craft anymore. But Ballast Point's roots are so deep in the community because of the homebrew mart.
Yeah, because I shopped there all the time.
Yeah,
that's where I did my stuff.
So most of the home brewers who have breweries in this town, probably shopped at home brew mart when they were home brewers.
In fact, not probably. They definitely did, because back in the day, I was spent a lot of time there.
So I think there's that, there's a sort of, there's people aren't, like, no one's saying, okay, you shouldn't have taken $1 billion, but there's also this begrudging thing that they are no longer going to be craft. And there's no half selling out,
Yeah, I mean, so. I think it was Lagunitas, though, right? That also recently got half bought by Heineken.
Yep, correct.
And I remember reading an excerpt of the founder was speaking at some conference and said, hey, we launched this thing, we built it from the ground up with friends and family, et cetera, et cetera. And at some point, those people that came along for the ride deserve a way to get rewarded. They're part owners, but they're part owners of something private that can't, they can't sell it.
No exit strategy.
They have no exit strategy, right? They deserve to be rewarded in some way. Correct. And hey, so we're going to go ahead and take this, and it takes us to the next level. And we were all working hard for something. So I bring that up only because I feel like that is half selling out.
Absolutely, it is.
But it's half selling out. It's not whole selling out. But at the same time, like you said, I've got 619 vodka. If in 15 or 20 years someone offers me, I'll take $500 million, and I'm good to go. And so, But you're right. I guess I'd never really thought so much about how they're rooted in the community based on where they started.
Correct.
Like I said, I shopped there. I was in there, talking to, okay, what do I do, and swapping recipes and doing all that kind of stuff.
I mean, Ballast Point started in the back of the homebrew store.
Right, exactly.
The breweries in the back. Yeah, that's where it started, and that brewery's still operating there. There's still an operational brewery in the back of that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Of homebrew mart. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty. It's but good for them,
Yeah. No, I mean and I feel like, there's not much to say. I would take the money too, I think. I mean, what do? Turn it down? I don't know. I would take the money.
Yeah. You have what Stone's offering now. They've announced their True Craft initiative, where they're putting
I just saw that too.
$100 million fund so that breweries who
don't have to sell out,
so they can sell up to 25% and therefore still fall under the definition of craft, as Sheldon just read to us, to help with their distribution or expansion or whatever it is that they need if they're trying to look for sources of additional capital.
Right. All right, we're up against the break, guys. So we'll take a break and we'll come back. And I want to dive into that, though, because that is an interesting thing. And so we'll take a break. We'll be right back right after this.
You're listening to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Brought to you by 619 Vodka, who reminds you to always drink responsibly. Find out more at 619vodka.com.
Hey, Mr. Credit here. If you ever catch me at happy hour, you'll probably catch me drinking a vodka martini. I don't always drink vodka, but when I do, I drink 619 Vodka because it's local vodka from right here in San Diego. I know the owner, and you can meet him too. Go to 619vodka.com and think 619 Vodka when you're out there having a good time. That's 619vodka.com. And of course, remember to always drink responsibly.
CS Keys here to tell you about San Diego's handcrafted ultra premium vodka, 619 Vodka. It's distilled and filtered 5 times, gluten-free, and made from 100% pure mountain spring water for a smooth, clean finish. It's a 2-time silver medal winner and a 2-time gold medal winner already in 2013. America's finest city has America's finest vodka that everybody can experience. Just go to the website, 619vodka.com. If you know like I know, you better tell somebody.
Is it time to sell your home, but you can't get top dollar because you need to make some repairs? Unless you're ready to take a lowball offer from some investor, you should call Agents Capital today or ask your real estate agent about them. Agents Capital will provide your realtor with access to the capital needed to fix up your home so it can be sold for top dollar. This means more money in your pocket at closing without having to come up with the cost of repairs ahead of time. To find out how you can use Agents Capital to fix up your home and sell it at top market value, call 888-265-4613 today. That's 888-265-4613. Or go to agentscapital.com. Don't miss the chance to put extra money in your pocket when selling in this great market. Call Agents Capital, 888-265-4613. That's 888-265-4613. Or visit agentscapital.com. That's agentscapital.com.
You are free citizens, convinced that everything is possible. You are free like the wind, like the soaring eagle. Everyone, pay attention. The moment is here. The time of the movement has come. Orange Movement. The future is in your hands. Orange Movement. Citizen Movement.
This is John Feinstein with the CBS Sports Minute. Dwayne Wade needs to apologize. Really apologize. His lame, anyone who thinks I was being disrespectful doesn't know Dwayne Wade, non-apology on Monday is only going to dig his hole deeper. On Saturday, he chose to ignore the singing of "Oh Canada" before the Heat's game with the Raptors because his pregame routine calls for him to make his last shot before the anthems are played. Sorry, Dwayne, that doesn't cut it. You cannot ignore anyone's anthem. Imagine how Americans would react if, say, Andrew Wiggins, a Canadian, ignored the Star-Spangled Banner. Or, for that matter, if an American did it. One of the problems with athletes is they rarely have someone around them to say, apologize, really apologize, and this will be over. Wade needs to say he's sorry, he was wrong, he made a mistake, and then say he's sorry again, because he should be. I'm John Feinstein.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 33.
O'Reilly. Restore lost fuel economy and eliminate rough idle with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner and get 1 free. Clean clogged injectors and increase fuel efficiency with Lucas Fuel Injector Cleaner. Buy 2, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now, back to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Brought to you by 619 Vodka, who reminds you to always drink responsibly. Find out more at 619vodka.com.
All right, welcome back to Nicksology. We have Sheldon Kaplan and Kevin Tostado here from the film Suds County, and now coming up soon, Suds County 2. What's the website again? Let's give that out one more time.
Sudscounty.com.
And they can go there, and you've got the Kickstarter going.
If they go to that, it'll redirect them straight to the Kickstarter campaign. We took our website down for the duration of the Kickstarter campaign.
Smart. I like that.
And the campaign's running till May 20th. Still plenty of time left, but if you're interested in watching a documentary about beer in San Diego, definitely go on there and pre-order right now. Got lots of great other reward packages available. It's like PBS. You pledge whatever amount you want, you get different rewards, but it's Kickstarter, so it's an all-or-nothing deal. We either hit our funding goal or nobody's card gets charged and we don't make the film.
Right. Okay. Well, we need to make the goal then.
Absolutely.
How are you doing? Where are you at? Where are you at on the goal so far?
We're still a bit low right now, but we need more people who are interested in this film to go on there and just put a no-risk pledge down right now.
Assuming we hit the goal, when would the film be completed?
Probably late spring of next year.
Okay, so about a year.
Yeah.
We've already got our crew assembled and we're ready to start shooting as soon as next month. We just need to hit our funding goal first to actually be able to make the film.
Cool. Well, we'll put that on our website too and try and push people over there.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were talking about this thing the craft brewery funding program thing. I don't know what to call it. True Craft, is that what they're calling it?
That's what they're calling it, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is that these breweries who need capital don't have to go and sell out, right?
Correct.
I mean, I don't think that would have worked for Ballast Point per se, but
Probably not.
Well, they were getting ready to do their IPO.
Yeah, I don't know if they were. If that was just the flag.
The inside baseball I heard on that is that was a ruse because the IPO was only for $173 million. And then they pull the IPO and get bought for $1 billion.
Well, they may have also been wanting to stay under that 25% if they're trying to stay craft.
Oh, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, if you're worth $1 billion, you're worth $1 billion, and you got to sell that equity to somebody. But I don't know. But I mean, I think that's kind of cool that they're trying to do that, and I don't know how. I mean, I guess it'll be useful to a lot of breweries.
I think so. I think it will be.
And for the investors involved, it allows them to diversify their portfolio across a number of craft breweries. And I guess their goal is eventually to expand beyond beer to also artisanal foods and other things. It's not a loan. It's a fund that's purchasing equity in these various different breweries.
Friendly equity.
But I thought the idea was that I thought it was repayable or that the brewery could eventually buy it back or something. I've only read it in a cursory way.
Yeah, it's still early. It was just announced earlier this week in Philadelphia at the Craft Brewers Conference.
And this is available to anyone in the country, right? Not just San Diego?
Don't know all the details.
I don't know all the details.
Okay.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
So you were saying off the air, and I just want to quickly ask, so why do you consider 10 Barrel to be different? For those that don't know, 10 Barrel is the brewery out of Portland, right? That's coming to San Diego.
Yeah, it's fully owned by
Anheuser-Busch,
yeah,
right.
Who are not a craft brewery.
Right, but the argument I've heard, and this is just, I'm outside the industry, right? I'm in the vodka world. So this is the various arguments I hear is that they're owned by Anheuser-Busch, but they're still run, by a local group of guys, and I've heard that the ones coming to San Diego, because part of being, I think, maybe not being craft by definition, but part of the craft scene is working with other breweries, right? And collaborating and offering, helping out and all that kind of stuff. And I hear that those guys are really open to doing that they want to be part of the scene. They want to work with other local breweries and that kind of stuff. So I don't have as much of an aversion to them, I guess, as I do to the whole Ballast Point thing.
Look, you can't.
Although I may have no really good excuse for it.
No, look. The thing is this: they're no longer craft by definition, which is fine as long as you can't.
Right.
Don't come here and pretend to be.
Okay.
So it's like you can't be half pregnant. You either are or you aren't. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Either you are or you aren't. You can't come into San Diego and utilize. Well, you can do what you like. It's the great thing about this country. It's a free country. You do what you like, right? But don't come and pretend that you're something that you're not. I think that's more why people might be a little bit up in arms. They sort of trying to coast on San Diego. All the hard work that people have put in here. What people don't understand, and I think it needs to be put in context. That back in the early days of when craft brewery was when they were called the microbreweries,
right?
In the 90s, and when they started getting popular, Big Beer they didn't try and maim or hurt these microbreweries. They wanted to kill them.
Right.
So and a lot of people who experienced that are still in the industry. Some of them survived and managed to keep going. But I mean, these guys literally try to take what was in the microbreweries and literally drive them completely out of business.
Right.
And then the other thing, as you've seen, selling beer that is not craft or not artisanal, and selling those beers as fake craft. The Blue Moons of the world, for example.
Blue Moon's a great example.
Yeah. And there are plenty more of those.
I'm trying to look quickly. I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to see if I can find on my phone. I took a picture a few weeks ago. Here it is. Yeah. So it's an Anheuser-Busch truck or an Anheuser-Busch thing, and it says born and raised in California. So are we. Or so is this. I'm like, really? How in the world is Anheuser-Busch Budweiser born and raised in California?
Hey.
I guess because they make that particular beer here.
Right.
I mean, the particular beer you're drinking is manufactured in this state, but but the stuff like that bugs me.
They also ran a commercial during the Super Bowl bashing craft beer, and then on the other hand, they're continuing to buy more.
Well, because that's the only way they can. Yeah, I mean, because they own Goose Island too, right?
Yeah, they own that's part of a consortium that's owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Right.
Correct. There are a bunch of breweries under that banner.
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't know. With the 10 Barrel, like I said, I feel like as long as they keep making. I feel like if they're producing beer in small batches and I just don't have as much animosity towards them. I don't know why.
It's also very difficult for independent craft to get shelf space. That's the other problem.
That's totally true.
So what happens is these guys buy out the breweries, then they buy out the breweries distributor. A lot of the distributors get bought out as well. That's the big thing that's happening right now. And so the true craft, as they're calling it now, those beers that you might have seen have some shelf space.
Right.
Those are not getting any shelf space anymore.
Okay, so now you've touched a nerve, because I run into that with the vodka all the time, is we can't get distribution. And unlike the breweries in California, we can't do what Stone did and just start distributing.
Yeah.
We're forced into that 3-tier system. So yeah, that's definitely a pain point I totally get, because shelf space is very limited, right? So there's only so much you can do.
Exactly.
All right, so what beer are we drinking now?
This is a double IPA. It's Stone's Enjoy By, but this time they put tangerine in, which I think works quite well with the malt.
I was wondering what that was. I didn't identify it as tangerine, though.
And it's also a double IPA. It's a 9.5%.
Yeah,
9.4.
Okay.
Yeah. So because it's got more malt backbone, so I think it actually works a lot better than a straight IPA with this, because you got a little bit of sweetness in the malt there.
The sweetness, yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's the sweetness from the malt mixing with a little bit of the fruit. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fruity IPA guy, but I quite like this.
Yeah, no, this one's really good. I like the tangerine. I can really taste that now. I just tasted fruit early on, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But that's really good. Yeah.
So now we're going to go one notch higher. We're going to do another double IPA.
Okay.
And this one, and I picked it out because it's kind of unusual. There are other watermelon beers out on the market. This is Ballast Point's a watermelon Dorado, which is another double.
I've seen this, but I haven't tried
double
it yet.
IPA. Yeah. And so, as I say, other breweries have done watermelon beers, but this is the first one I've ever seen with a double IPA, and I just wanted to bring it as a point of comparison with the others that we just drank.
And this is a 10.0 ABV.
I'm laughing only because I think it was off the air. You were talking about how we went from IPAs to session beers, which I never understood, because I guess I understand it.
So you don't fall over.
I'm an alcoholic, I guess, is the bottom line. But I'm like, if I'm going to go pay $7 or $8 or $9 for a beer, I'm scanning the board for the one with the highest ABV. But that's just me. It's a personal problem.
Trying to get your money's worth.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad we're getting back to these higher ABV beers. But wow, this is really good with the watermelon.
To me, it tastes like Jolly Ranchers.
It does. That, I think, you know what? It does taste like Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, IPA and Jolly Rancher. Yeah, it's a little. It's not my thing, but hey, it's what's out there, and it's what it seems to be this trend. I mean, a lot of breweries are doing it a lot across the country, and as you probably know, IPAs are the number one selling style in craft across the country by a long way. By a long way, all IPAs. So. Yeah. Okay. So I guess this is the natural evolution, and this will go for a while, and probably be the next thing. We had the pepper beers before a little bit. I guess that hasn't become mainstream yet.
Wait, there were pepper beers?
They're pepper beers. You can get the habaneros and the wahoo. There's
Thai chili wahoo, and the habanero Sculpin as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I've definitely sort of seen those. I don't think I've ever tried one.
Yeah,
it kind of blew right by me. Yeah. Beer's one of those things. Yeah, I mean, I like spicy almost everything, but I don't know if I'd go spicy beer.
Well, I was going to say the cool thing though about San Diego, and something that we will look at in the movie, is that although we're going to be looking at the evolution of the San Diego IPA and how it's shifted over the years and what it's evolved into since the 80s.
Right.
What people forget, everyone knows San Diego is this hoppy IPA town.
IPA town. Yeah.
But last week was the World Beer Cup in Philly, and San Diego won 14. Medals, and they won 5 golds. And I'm going to read the gold medals. From Amplified Ale Works was a Whammy Bar of wheat. That's American style wheat beer. Breakwater, a rye beer, Rye Dawn. Fall Brewing, a bourbon barrel aged Jinx Remover, which is a wooden barrel aged strong beer. Monkey Paw, which is a smoked beer called Ashes from the Grave, and Mike Hess Brewing for a German style Kolsch for their Claritas. So in all those golds, that's a wide range of different beer styles,
right?
And all winning gold medals at the World Beer Cup,
right?
And there are tons of great non-IPAs and all sorts of beers being brewed all around San Diego County as we speak, which is amazing.
Yeah, there's great stuff happening. All right, I'm running over. Let's take a break, and then we come back. I want to talk about that too, because we talked about lagers and we mentioned coffee beers. So we come back, we'll talk about the non-IPA stuff going on in San Diego. We'll be right back right after this.
You're listening to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Brought to you by 619 Vodka, who reminds you to always drink responsibly. Find out more at 619vodka.com.
Hey, Mr. Credit here. If you ever catch me at happy hour, you'll probably catch me drinking a vodka martini. I don't always drink vodka, but when I do, I drink 619 vodka because it's local vodka from right here in San Diego. I know the owner, and you can meet him too. Go to 619vodka.com and think 619 vodka when you're out there having a good time. That's 619vodka.com. And of course, remember to always drink responsibly.
CS Keys here to tell you about San Diego's handcrafted ultra premium vodka, 619 Vodka. It's distilled and filtered 5 times, gluten-free, and made from 100% pure mountain spring water for a smooth, clean finish. It's a 2-time silver medal winner and a 2-time gold medal winner already in 2013. America's Finest City has America's Finest Vodka that everybody can experience. Just go to the website, 619vodka.com. If you know like I know, you better tell somebody.
Now, back to Nicksology on ESPN 1700. Brought to you by 619 Vodka, who reminds you to always drink responsibly. Find out more at 619vodka.com.
All right, welcome back. You caught me off guard there, Jeff. Welcome back to Nicksology. We've got Sheldon Kaplan and Kevin Tostado here. Right before we went to break, we were talking about the awards.
The 2016 World Beer Cup.
Yeah. And
I just read the five gold winners.
And none of them were IPAs.
Yeah.
So there's definitely stuff going on in town now that's not IPA related, right?
Yeah. And even in the other medals, I mean, if you go down through, Mother Earth took silver for an extra special bitter, Ale Smith for a Scotch Ale, they're wee heavy. And I can go down the list, Ballast for Piper Down. An Imperial Red from Thorn Street. So all these beers are as I say, clearly non-IPAs. Right. But the beer that has the other style of beer that's sort of really grown in San Diego, and it's sort of grown at the same time as all the independent coffee roasters, are the Imperial Coffee Stouts.
Right. And I'm joking, I'm laughing because so. I'm just, for your information, 619 Vodka, we just released a bunch of infusions, and one of the ones we did is coffee. And we went to Bird Rock Coffee Roasters.
Yeah, Chuck.
We were working with Nick, with Nick Berardi over there. Yeah. And I sort of knew there were coffee things going on, but the amount of when he was telling me all the breweries he's working with, it's crazy. And so the coffee seems to be like kind of the next big thing.
Right. A Speedway Stout is Ale Smith's #1 selling beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Apparently. Yeah.
Okay.
And they've got, there are multiple different iterations of that beer, and there are lots of different kinds of. Ballast has the Victory at Sea, and all these various iterations of the beer. Carl Strauss, Wreck Alley, Stone's Chocovesa. Modern Time, City of the Dead, New English coffee chocolate stout called Zumba.
Okay.
Which is so it's again, they're all these, that's the other thing that's, because I always say they're finding a regular stout in San Diego. Not many.
Not possible.
Not really. They're not many,
Right.
Yeah. So it's
So you've got you've got these coffee things. You've got these fruit IPAs are still IPAs, but you got the coffee stuff. You got the sours now coming.
Yep. Lots of barrel aged beers, barrel
aging and lagering now starting to happen, which is great because I as much as I dislike the crappy pilsners the big guys make, I do like a good well made lager.
Yep.
Is San Diego going away from IPAs?
No, I don't think so. Because the country is still locked in. I don't think so. I don't think we'll really ever go. It suits where we live, as I say.
Yeah.
I mean, it suits where we live. And I don't see us going away from IPAs, and certainly not anytime soon.
But there definitely are breweries opening up that don't make an IPA. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think Toolbox is an example.
I don't know if they do or not.
An IPA. They might be the only one though. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they have such a different ethos of what they're doing, and he's out there capturing wild yeast and whatnot to try, which is really cool.
Yeah. There's also a one in the works called California Wild Ales, which that's all they're going to specialize in. I think they're going to be in the Miramar area when they open.
Okay.
And Lightning Brewery sort of focuses still, even though I think they do a double IPA now, they still focus on German-style beers. That's their sort of mainstay.
Right.
And they do some English beers as well. But they make great beers there as well. Great German.
Right.
Their Thunderweissen, their Hefeweizen. It's a fabulous beer that.
Right.
From Lightning Brewery, and some other great beers too. Their lager's good too.
Right.
So
let's talk about the barrel aged stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that an old tradition being brought back, or is it? It seems to be like a new thing, right?
Well, it is an old. It's from an old European tradition.
Okay.
Mostly the I think the San Diego brewers are mostly influenced by the Belgian barrel. The guys who brew from Belgian barrels. Tommy Arthur, sort of the progenitor of the modern barrel aging in San Diego. With his Cuvée Tommy, originally started out back at the old Pizza Porcelana Beach, and now he's got the Lost Abbey. And they turn out some stellar.
Right, the Lost Abbey is one of my favorite breweries.
Stellar barrel aged beer, world class beers from there. But it's all over. Carl Strauss now has a huge barrel aging program.
Strauss does?
Yeah, they do now. Cellar Green Flash's the Cellar 3 out in Poway. That's a whole separate area just dedicated to barrel aged beers.
Oh, that's wild.
And even some of the smaller ones are getting into it. Pure Project Society, Council. They're starting to get into their barrel aging a little bit as well.
Council especially. Yeah,
Pure Project will be on here next week, actually. Yeah,
cool. So. Yeah. Council has been doing a lot, and they've been doing a lot of sours as well. You'll be happy to know. At Council,
I just can't. Yeah, I mean, to me, if a beer is because I had someone on, I forget who, and it's probably better if I don't name the brewery, who described souring beers as basically we spend all this time trying to make sure none of this bad bacteria gets into our beer, and then at the end we add it back in.
Right.
And yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I get the traditional lambics that are open air fermented and it's wild yeast in the area and they come out, but again they come out tart to me, not sour. And a couple of the sours I've had have been lip puckeringly sour, and I don't know. It's me. I don't get it. But I'm gonna keep trying. Maybe pairing with food, like you said.
Yeah. I think so. Like a nice sort of traditional barrel aged sour.
Yeah,
paired with something that can cut through. Because it's designed to cut through. It'll cut through.
Well, that's the thing.
Through something heavy.
I'm clearly in the minority on the whole thing. So
yeah. Yeah, I was going to say one of the other, just thinking of trends in that, the other thing that's happened from San Diego, that San Diego's influence, and there's something else that we're going to look at in the movie, is massive beyond San Diego. So our movie is going to take us outside of San Diego.
Okay.
To other parts of the U.S. and also to parts of Europe where San Diego beer has been highly influential. And the other place that people aren't maybe aware of is down in Mexico, in Baja. There are a number of breweries now, Ensenada, Mexicali, and Tijuana. And all of those breweries are all influenced by San Diego. They wouldn't have been there without San Diego.
So do you know? Obviously, there's a lot of microbreweries or craft breweries throughout the country, but density-wise, is San Diego at the top?
I don't know where we fit exactly density-wise. I know,
certainly from awards, right? I mean, from the last few years, we've won a lot of the awards at these various competitions, right?
Right. But it's interesting, though. I was reading that this year there were in the competition at the World Beer Cup, 1,907 breweries representing 55 countries and listen to this, 6,596 entries in 96 categories.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So I mean, it's not just here. And
are those limited to craft breweries?
This is craft for the most part. Actually it's not limited to craft. Now that I think of it, the World Beer Cup isn't.
Okay.
Because I've seen some beers that are non-craft, like one in Strange.
I was just wondering because I thought with those numbers, I'm like, well, then the craft industry is pretty strong. No. I mean, obviously the craft industry is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Budweiser trying to buy them up.
Mm-hmm. To your question, I think Brian Beagle of San Diego Beer Talk says that San Diego County has the most number of breweries per county,
capita, right.
per county, not per capita, but within a county's limit.
Okay.
But I think Portland, Oregon has the highest number within a specific city per capita.
And they also,
Portland's pretty dense. Yeah,
and they also have a higher number of the percentage of craft in their bars is higher than here. The amount
really?
of yes, yeah. Portland is like one of the.
That seems odd to me because I can't walk into a bar here and see.
No, well, we're catching up, but they certainly have the edge on us.
That upsets me.
But it's been going. The Pacific Northwest brewing scene has actually been going longer than the San Diego craft brewing scene. So they had a good jump at the start.
And they also have a lot more local hops up that way too, and
yeah. True, but they sort of embraced it early. They were like the early. They were really early.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
Yeah. But just overall breweries in 2000. Oh,
No, we have
okay, cool. Yeah, 2000, there were 1,566 breweries in the United States. And it's interesting, by 2005, that had dropped to 1,447. And at the end of last year, at the end of 2015, we're at 4,269.
That's insane.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know.
It's good, though.
I know.
That's awesome.
That's awesome,
It's
yeah.
awesome for the community.
Yeah, when I first started making the original Suds County movie, when I first started doing the research, was in 2009.
Okay.
In San Diego. There were less than 30 breweries. And today we have over 120.
125 last count, I think. Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. We're out of time.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Sudscounty.com.
Sudscounty.com. Go help out the Kickstarter. We got to get this movie made. I want to see all this. I want to see the second one. I need to watch the first one, actually. You guys
We'll get it to you.
And for $15, you can pre-order both online on Kickstarter.
Sweet. And one last thing. If go to 33club.com, 619 Vodka's Scorpion Pepper is featured in their box this month. So you're going to get 2 619 Vodka Scorpion Pepper cocktails if you join for the May box. All right, guys. That's it. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you.
And we'll see you here next week on Nicksology.
I tried to reach for you, but you have closed.
Thank you for listening to Nicksology on ESPN 1700, hosted by Nick Apostolopoulos. Nick is the owner of 619 Vodka. Find out more about this locally owned vodka at 619vodka.com.